Howdy folks, how you doing today? This video is going to be the second example of creating a scatterplot. So this is going to be an example to help you with Tuesday's homework. The example I'm going to work through together for you is going to be the palm trees example. So we will have now worked out two of the four, and your job is to work out the other two. So we'll start by plotting our points. We're going to have to figure out our x and y axis first, and then we'll plot our points, and then we'll find our slope and create our equation. So let's go ahead and get started here. We'll throw our camera on in the background there, and let's come over here. So here we have our palm trees. So this will be example number 2. If you recall, we're going to start off by labeling, and this is going to be x and y. Remember, measurements of time should always be x, and then that makes this y. And you'll see I've already labeled it for you, so the tree's age in years, and the tree's height in feet. Now the years go from 0 to 6, and we've got lots and lots of space here. We have 50 squares, so we can space this out. You want to space things out, the more the better, because it gives you more accuracy to your graph. So if I have to get up to 6, and I know that there are 50 squares here, let's use a little bit more than half of it. Let's make each 5 squares worth 1 year. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. That's year 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's year 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's year 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's year 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's year 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's year 6. And then our height in feet goes up to 8. Now remember, we have 30 squares up here. So let's make every, let's just make it every 2 squares is worth 1. Okay. We can probably space it out a little bit better, but we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now remember, some of these decimals are going to be an approximation. 3.2 feet, we're going to have to approximate that as best we can. All right, so let's go ahead and plot our points now. So at 0, 0, we're going to put our first point right there at 0, 0. And then we're going to go to 1 and 1.5. 2 and 3.2. Now 3.2, I'm just going to put it a little above 3. I'm going to approximate it. 3, 5. 4, 6.4. 5, 7.1. And 6, 8.0. Oops, I missed it. And right there. So ignore that one right there. So now I'm going to need to create my line of best fit. So remember, we're going to try and balance our points above and below the line as best as possible. So if I start here, actually let's see if I can use my clear one so we can see through things a little bit. If we look here at how we're going to draw it, we're going to want to try and approximate above and below as best we can. So if I go right here, it looks like I'm going to hit about 1, 2, 3, 4 points with 1 below and 1 above. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a line through those points and approximately so there is our line of best fit. Well, let's go through and now look at the questions. What type of correlation? Remember, correlation means trend is shown between the tree's age and the tree's height. And we're going to say that it is a positive trend or a positive correlation. As the number of years increase, the height increases. Now number 4 is going to want me to write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line of best fit. Well, before I do that, I need to find my slope. So we're going to come back to here, and we're going to find our slope. So let's go ahead and use a couple points here. All right, let's go ahead and use 0, 0. And let's use this point here, which actually it looks as though I missed. We'll use it anyway, but we're going to go 5, 7.1. You'll notice it should have been over 1. So that point really should be here. So let's not use that point, because that point, well, now let's go ahead. Let's use that point, because I would have just moved my line down. So I'm going to go with 0, 0, and 5, 7.1. Normally we would redo this, but because of the time for this video, I'm just going to go ahead and keep this one in there. So we're going to go x1, y1, x2, y2. Well, y2 is 7.1 minus 0 and 5 minus 0. So m equals 7.1 over 5. Well, let's go ahead and get a decimal answer for that. So I'm going to put that into the calculator, and I'm going to go 7.1 divided by 5. Gives me a slope that is 1.42. Now remember, you may use different points, and you might get a slope that's slightly different, and that's okay. If your slope is close to 1.4, if it's 1.5, 1.6, or if it's 1.3, 1.2, then we're in pretty good shape. So let's go back over here to write our equation. Now remember, in order to get started writing an equation, I'm going to put it in point-slope form. So I'm going to go y minus 0 equals 1.42 x minus 0. And when I picked a point to use, I used this one up here. I used 0, 0. Well, that works out great, because when I go ahead and distribute, I'm going to get y minus 0 equals 1.42x. And then I'll add the 0, and I simply get 1.42x. Excuse the switch to pen, but I ran out of lead on my pencil. 1.42 is the slope. And what does the slope represent? Well, it's positive. So it's an increase of 1.42 feet per year. So every year the tree gets older, it grows 1.42 feet. Well, if we go back to the graph here, my x-axis was years, and my y-axis was the tree's height. And they're going to give me clues. So the first problem is predict the height of the tree at year 11. Well, year 11 is the clue for x, because that's years. So I'm going to come back to this equation right here, and I'm going to get y equals 1.42 times, I'm going to plug in my clue for 11. So 1.42 times 11, 15.62. So y equals 15.62. And what did y stand for? Well, y stood for here and here, the height in feet. So that is going to be 15.62 feet. And for our second problem using clues and making predictions, the clue is given to me that it's 45 feet tall, and they want to know how many years. Well, 45 feet is going to go in for the letter y. So I'm going to go back to my original equation, and I'm going to say that 45 equals 1.42x. And in order to get x alone, I'm going to divide by 1.42. So I'm going to come back to my calculator here, and I'm going to go 45 divided by 1.42 equals, and that's approximately 31.7. What did the letter X stand for? Well, the letter X stand for years. So this is approximately 31.7 years. So again, to recap what we did, we took the table and created our scatter plot. After creating our scatter plot, we found the slope and we used the calculator to help us. After finding the slope, we built our equation. And I built my equation here, and then I used it to solve given the clues. So again, this is a review of the scatter plot. We've now done 2 scatter plots together, which leaves you with 1 to do on your own. I hope that this helped, and this is for Tuesday's homework. Have a great day.